Okay, hello everyone. My name is Ina and today we're going to have our first Russian class. So it's going to be a little bit interesting because I never had Russian classes on Twitch before, but basically it's as no different from any other online tutoring classes. So first of all, I want everyone to know that Russian is not that difficult. And today we're going to learn the alphabet, and it's our lesson 1. So I'm going to use Pear Deck extension, and it allows us to draw on the slides and also maybe do some writing. So I'm going to share the link in the chat. So if you want, you can join and you can just get access to the whole lesson materials. You can also type in your browser joinpd.com and this will be your enter the password. So first of all, I would like to tell you that Russian language is a phonetic language, which means that you can accurately tell from the spelling of a word how it should be pronounced. So it means that you can very easily learn how to read in Russian. Of course, like we're not talking about understanding, but simply reading things, and it will be quite easy. So let's start the lesson. Let's go to our first letter. Actually, there are 33 letters in Russian alphabet, and many of them you already know how they look like because they're very similar to the Latin alphabet and to English language. So for example, the first letter I'm going to say actually what in Russian language we call the letter bukva. Bukva. So just for you to get used to more Russian, I'm going to say not letter but bukva. So first one is bukva A. A. Almost the same like in English. In English we say A, but here is A. And the word that begins with this bukva, with bukva A, is aeroport. 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 The stress is on the last syllable, port. Aeroport. It's not very difficult, and basically in English it's the same, airport. So not that difficult. Let's go to the next one and see if you can guess the pronunciation of this bukva. So maybe if you just look at this bukva by itself, it may look strange or unusual, maybe even funny. But if you will look at the picture that represents the word that begins with this letter, with this bukva, it should be quite easy. So what type of the sport is it? So in English we say basketball. In Russian we say basketball. Basketball. Again, we're stressing the final syllable, the last syllable. So there is no rule on which syllable should be stressed, but it's just the matter of remembering. So if we just compare our English word with the Russian, we know that the sound is the same. Basketball, basketball. So this letter is B. B, 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 B. Basketball. And later you will see that when we pronounce the name of the bukva, if it's a consonant, we kind of add sound "e" at the end. But it's okay if you just say without. If you just say "b", it's also fine. As long as you know what sound could be produced from this bukva, it will be fine. Also, the word bukva, letter, also begins with letter B. Okay, let's go for the next one. This one is a very tricky bukva because it looks, in many Latin languages, it will produce the sound B, B, but in reality it's actually different. So if you look at the picture and if you could tell me the name of this drink, you will know what sound does this bukva make. So of course in English we say it is vodka. Vodka. Okay, vodka. And if you look at the Russian word, it's actually quite similar. So if we will look at the similarities, we will see that the second letter is O. Next, and at the end we have ka. So basically in this word you already know 3 letters easily. And now we know that this bukva makes the sound v. So we call it v. Vodka. So pretty much the same. Vodka. Okay, next letter is again, so you try to guess. I don't think any language has this letter. I mean, any Latin language, European language, but it might look scary actually, like maybe an axe. But if we look at the picture and if we look at this musical instrument, do we know how to say it in English? I think we do. So it should be a guitar. And in Russian it is the same. Gitara. So we stress the second syllable. Gitara. So this bukva is bukva G. Gitara. There could be another word that is also very similar to English, and I'm not sure that I can that I'm good at drawing, but I will maybe try to draw it. Okay, I'm not very good at drawing again. Okay, doesn't look good at all. Maybe I need to make this a little bit smaller. I can say that this is an animal, but the question is, what kind of animal is it? Okay, so I'm not very good at drawing, especially on the computer, but it's supposed to be gorilla. And in Russian it will be the same, gorilla. So many words in different languages, they are loan words from French, from Latin, so same in Russian language. So I guess I will delete this gorilla, clear it up because it's not a very beautiful gorilla. Okay, next one is, if we just look at the picture, it's not very clear what type of profession it could be, because it could be a nurse, it could be a doctor, it could be medical assistant, a dentist. Okay, not a dentist, but you know, like cardiologist and so on. But the broad name for all of this kind of specialists in medical field is doctor. So we stress the first syllable, or doctor. So we can guess that the first letter is there. So it looks a little bit strange. It looks like a hill and a mountain that is sitting on a bench. So the. So when we want to write it, we just draw a mountain, and after we draw a bench underneath. So it's kind of a mountain or standing on a bench. The doctor. Okay, so the next bukva is bukva yeah. It looks like English E, or maybe like in other languages it could be pronounced as e, but kind of it's much closer to other languages with e. Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any word that will be similar to English, so except for just exclamation when you're super happy, something good happened, and you say like yeah, like hooray, yeah. So that's it. Actually, there are some words, there are quite many words that begin with this letter, but none of them actually sound as in English. Another letter that is very similar to yeah, if you look back, this is yeah, and this is exactly the same letter but with 2 dots on top. So this letter is yo, like we make sound y and o, yo. Again, it's a specific letter, and if you buy books nowadays, just like any fantastic books or fiction books, you would not see it much in the printed books because why? I think that kind of maybe it's more difficult like for the printing companies to use it. It's like an extra symbol and it looks very similar to letter Y, and very often these 2 dots are omitted in the book. So in my opinion it shouldn't be done because it's like its own letter and it has its own sound, but just bear in mind that sometimes when you read books in Russian, maybe you will not find letter yo there, but the author would imply that there will be that letter. And another reason why maybe we don't use this letter as much in newspapers or like printed materials, because there are not so many words that begin with it, and they are not popular either, so they're quite rare words, so you don't really need to use it that often. And because it's quite a rare letter and there are limited amount of words beginning with it, of course it was difficult to find any picture that will symbolize it, but the nearest what I could think of is the toy yo-yo. But again, in Russian language it has little bit different spelling, so it makes the same sound as yo, but letter yo, bukva yo, consists of 2 sounds, y and o. And in writing, we're kind of writing also, like I checked online, because it's a loan word, so there are not so many rules on how to use it, how to write it. So I checked online shops and majority of them used this spelling, but of course I found some that just used, okay, let me change the language here, that used this spelling. So there could be both, but I think the first one with E and O is more common. So again, don't worry, because there are not so many words with this letter and it's not a big problem, not a big deal. Next letter is a little bit interesting because it looks like mirrored letter K. Look, if we look, this is letter K, and if we just put the mirror, and it will be its reflection. So it's but it has nothing in common with pronunciation of this letter. So of course, what can help us? The picture can help us to figure out the pronunciation of this bukva. So it is a giraffe, j in English. In Russian, we have its own sound, so we don't really need to add d in front. So it will be zh, Ж, же, же. Giraffe, giraffe, giraffe. Two syllables, the stress is on the final syllable. Giraffe, giraffe. Okay. Again, it's a pretty unique sound, and you kind of can make analogy that you haven't heard this sound much in Latin languages. Like the closest would be j, but it's still different. So j, it's a little bit softer. Next one is number 3, but actually it's also a letter. And if we look at this beautiful white and black animal, we call it zebra or zebra, and we can guess that the pronunciation of this bukva is z, z, ze, ze, zebra, zebra. So we stress the first syllable, zebra, zebra. Next letter is quite confusing because it looks like upside down N in English alphabet or in Latin alphabet, but it is actually a vowel and it sounds E, E, E. And again, that was not easy to find a word that begins with letter E and would have the same meaning as in English, so I had to be a little bit sneaky and choose the country, India, India. So here we stress the first syllable in, India, 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 India. Next one is almost the same. So you see there are 33 letters in Russian alphabet, but we have just learned that there are quite similar letters like ye and yo. They look almost alike, just 2 dots, and the same with letter E and E. They look very similar, just this one has this little hat on the top. And if we just make it sound E, and after we kind of want to raise our voice a little bit up and just stop it, E, E, and that will be exactly the letter E. Actually, its official name is quite long. It should be I краткая, and it means a short letter E. E, E, E. And the word that is actually fits with this letter that begins with it is yeti, yeti. Letter E is a consonant, and it's always a consonant. And letter E, the soft one, and the, let's say, we can say the long one, is always a vowel. E, India, quite long also. And this one is short. I, y, y, y. Yeti, yeti. Actually, there's a pretty fun fact about this word, about yeti, because yeti is a loan word from English language, and originally in Russian language we will call this creature снежный человек. And if we will, okay, 1 second, and if we will translate it like directly word by word into English, it will be a snowman. Like just a man that is lives in the snow or is made of snow. And we know that in English, if we write it together. Maybe here we can write it. Okay, let me try it here. Oopsie. Here, snowman is basically a creature, not a creature, but just, oops, wanted to choose bluish here. Something what children make in the winter, like for Christmas, when there is snow, and they put some carrots into it as a nose. So basically this is a snowman, but in Russian language that will have a different name for it. It will be, okay, let's change the language, still haven't changed. Снеговик, снеговик. And the Russian word снеговик means actually something that is made of snow. But снежный человек is just like a human who lives in the snow, environment. But nevertheless, so this red letter is I краткое. It's the official name of this letter, but it makes the sound y, 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 yeti, yeti. Okay, next is pretty easy. We just see the letter, we see bukva that basically we know, and we see the picture that we know, and the only difference maybe is the spelling of this word with Russian letters. So it is computer, 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 computer. So the stress is on the third syllable, and the sound of this bukva is the same as in English. K, k, k. Ka, letter ka, ka. Computer, computer. Next one is just a single mountain, just one mountain, and it is letter L. This, it makes the sound L, 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 Le, or L, L. And if we know it in English, we can already know what is it. It is a lamp, right? Lamp. We'll make it black. And if we will compare it with the Russian alphabet, we have 4 letters. Here we have 5 letters, but pretty much the same. Lamp, lampa, lampa. We stress the first syllable. La, lampa. Actually, lam, lampa, lampa, lampa. L, 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 lampa, lampa. Next letter is, oh, bukva, sorry, next bukva is bukva M. M, M, M. We pronounce it as M, but we call this bukva M. And one of the pretty much international words is metro, metro, metro. So we stress the second syllable, metro. As I remember, in France, it's called metro or metro, metro. And of course, you know that it could be like underground, or it could be subway in other countries. But still, we still have metro or metro, metro. Okay, my cat is getting crazy. Next one is the spicy word. Actually, it looks like bukva H, like letter H in English, But it is completely different because if we look at this picture, so who is this? We don't know, just a lady. But the question is, where is she? She's at the beach. And what is she wearing? Nothing. So how do we call people who wear nothing at the beach, or people who don't like wearing clothes? Nudists. Nudists. And in Russian language it's it is the same. Nudist. Nudist. Okay, maybe not the same, but pretty close. Nudist. 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 We stress the last syllable. So this letter is actually makes sound n. N, n, n. And this is one of the trickiest letters, trickiest bukvas, because it's n, 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 that looks like H. And another tricky letter, if you remember, is this one, bukva B, 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 that looks like, bukva V, even I got confused. But in English it makes sound B, but in Russian it is V, vodka. So yeah, we have some tricky letters, tricky bukvas, and it just takes some practice to get used to them. But again, if you know how to pronounce the letters, what sounds they make, you can easily read anything in Russian language. You don't need to be a pro. Next one is pretty easy. O, отель. Отель, отель, отель. O is O. O is O. Like, very easy, very simple. Next one is kind of easy to guess, but again, this letter is kind of new because it looks different. So this wonderful animal, this wonderful, beautiful animal is called panda. And in Russian language, it is the same. Pan, da, panda, panda. So this is actually sound P, 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 bukva P, 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 panda. And in the very same picture, you can find another word that I'm pretty sure you know. And I can help you. It is something green. What is panda eating? What is it eating? So in English we say, what do we say? Bamboo, bamboo. And in Russian language, okay, not yet. Bamboo. But we also add another letter, k, bambuk, bambuk, bambuk. So this is one pretty regular picture, but you already know two words without even learning Russian. So it's quite nice, isn't it? So really like showing my students and showing you that there are so many words that you already know, so you don't need to be really scared of this language. Okay, next one is a modern technology. Okay, technological appliance or whatever you call it. This one is again the tricky one because in English it makes sound P, letter P, but in Russian, if we compare the picture, if we'll just look at the picture, we know that this is a robot. So in Russian language, robot. but, robot, robot. So this is actually letter re, re, r, r, r. So if we think of any analog in Latin alphabet, it will be letter R. It will basically have very similar sound. So Russian R is more rolling. It's more rolling than in English. Maybe a little bit like in French, if you French or you ever learned French. I may have been a bit late, but I'm here. Okay, cool. So we already went through half of the alphabet, but it's still good. So this is the letter R, R, or actually makes the sound R, but the letter is Re, Re, robot. I just said that Russian is a phonetic language, and it means that you can accurately tell from the spelling how it should be pronounced. And again, if you hear someone saying something, if you know the sounds and you note it down, you would be able to basically write what people are saying. So it's quite easy to learn how to read in Russian and how to produce sounds. Okay, next word that everyone knows, and it's actually very similar to English alphabet or any Latin alphabet, is letter S, or sometimes it's called S, S. So the sound is S, S, S. And of course it has the meaning as it's shown in the picture. People doing different kinds of sport. So in Russian it's basically exactly the same. Sport, sport. Just a slight difference in pronunciation because the letters sound a little bit different. So if we compare, okay, this is Russian alphabet. Again, can't switch it. Sport. So we can see 5 letters in English alphabet and 5 letters in Russian alphabet. And the first one is S, P, O. Okay, next one is here, see, R, T, sport, sport. So in today's lesson we're just trying to figure out the alphabet and trying to compare the English letters to Russian to figure out that actually not so many are different. Some are exactly the same. Next one, also exactly easy. I think it became an international word. The yellow cab. Another word, another meaning for cab is a taxi. So in Russian language, it's the same. Tak-si, taxi, taxi. Yeah, so this last letter we have already checked that it looks like crooked letter N in English, but actually it's a vowel E, E. Taxi, taxi. So the same as in English, T, 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 letter T, T. And also we decided to call any letter using the Russian word. It will be bukva, bukva T, letter T. Next one, again, sometimes it was not easy for me to find the words that are pretty similar, have similar sounding to English or Latin languages. Sometimes they're very abstract, and this is one of them. So this is letter U, U. It is always a vowel, U, 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 U. And the word is, I'm going to read it because it's quite difficult to guess from the picture. I couldn't even find a really matching picture. I think it's almost impossible. Ul, ti, ma, tum. Ultimatum. 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 So if you watched like the movie, The Saw, you know that people were giving basically this thing. So it's either you do this, like maybe cut your eyeball out, or either you cut your arm or cut your hand off your body, or you die. So that was, do you know, did you guess the name like of this word in English? Is it easy or difficult to guess it? In Russian it is ultimatum. Ultimatum. So in English it is ultimatum or ultimatum. Wow, my cat is giving me an ultimatum. He wants me to shut up or to pet him. And okay, he gets some pets. Ultimatum. Ultimatum. Okay, next one that was actually also asked by one of my followers on Twitch. What about this letter O with some stroke in the middle? So this is actually a consonant, and it has the sound F. It's like English letter or Latin letter F. F. So in Russian, the name of this letter is F or F. Depends on how people are saying. Depends where people are from. And the word that begins with letter F is film. Film. So we stress the first and the only vowel, because the rest are consonants. So film, film, pretty much the same. I know that maybe film is not a very common word in English. Like, I think nowadays people prefer to use the word movie, but still film is an accurate word. Next one. Next one is also a little bit tricky, because in English this letter produced the sound k, s, ks, but in Russian it's actually different. It has maybe the closest one will be H, like so letter ha, the sound and again, I don't know many words beginning with this letter, with this bukva ha in Russian language, but one of them is hacker. 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 So hacker. Hacker. Sounds pretty much the same. And again, why? Because it is a loan word and probably from English. Not probably, it is loaned from English. So hacker. Next one is, this is definitely something new, something that does not exist in other languages. So this is letter C. C. So it makes the sound ts. Ts. Like ts. Be quiet. C. C. So how do I write it? Basically, you just draw an angle, and after just little tail down, like maybe a zigzag or tiny bit of a lightning, and you just add another stroke on top. Tse. So again, this is kind of lightning, or maybe the steps, the stairs, and you add a stroke on the top. Tse. And what else could be begin with tse except tsar, tsar, a tsar, kind of a king in ancient Russia. not even in ancient, but I think, yeah, kind of it's refers to more older times, because since Peter the Great we started to have like more emperors. So now it is, this one is tsar, tsar, tss. Next one is letter ch, 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 ch. So makes the closest sound as ch, ch, ch. Че, 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 че. Чем, пи, он, чемпион, чемпион. So we stress the final syllable. Чемпион. In English, pretty much the same. Champion. Champion, чемпион. Next one is also a new letter, and it looks, actually, if you have ever learned Chinese, in Chinese language they have this word. It's basically the same, just the middle stroke goes a little bit higher. And in Chinese it is shan, that symbolizes the mountain. And basically it has the same sound, sh, sh. So if we put S and H together, sh, sh. Letter sha, sha. Oh, we can also call it she, sha, sh. And here, the woman, she found out something, and she's so surprised, or we can say she is shocked. So shock, shock. Only one vowel, so only one syllable. Shock, shock. Don't forget to repeat the words after me, by the way. It will really help you. And this is pretty much the same letter, but it has this little appendix at the bottom. And this appendix, we could also actually look like letter C, C, remember, with tsar, like this. Or it could look just letter sh from the previous slide, but it has a little bit of extra of something. So this is quite a rare letter, rare bukva, because not so many common words begin with it. So you shouldn't really be scared much. And one of the most popular words will be shika, shika. So it's a cheek, cheek, part of your face, a cheek. Shika, shika, sh, sh, sh. So the previous letter, bukva she, we said it kind of quite soft. Sh, sh, she, she. And this one is more hard and kind of brutal. Shh, like we're very angry. Maybe kids are too naughty and the teacher in the class says shh, shh. Or when we try to maybe show a very aggressive snake, shh, shh, shika, shh, 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 shika. So just one more time. This previous letter is sh, 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 shock, shock, chocolate, sh, 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 chocolate, shock. And this one is sh, sh, shika. Yeah, quite. Oh, my cats, I think they're scared because I use this sound to shish them away when they're too naughty. Sometimes, yeah, we do. Okay, next one. Okay, next one is a special letter, is more like a symbol because it does not have any sound. So there is no way how to pronounce it. It just has an official name that is called, okay, твердый знак. And if we'll translate it, it will be like hard, symbol, hard symbol. Symbol that shows us that we should pronounce the word, the letter, not softly. That's it. So, as for example, we have pictures of two cats, right? On the first picture, and actually we see there is almost the same spelling. Here we have 1, 2, 3 letters, and here 1, 2, 3, 4. So both of these words, they have almost identical number of almost identical letters. The only difference is this твердый знак. So if we read the first word, it will be сел, сел, means a cat sat down. Сел means to sit down, but in the past, sat down. And if we have exactly the same letters, but we have this твердый знак, and we read the whole word together, it will be съел, съел. So this first S will be hard, not soft. Съел means ate food. Сел, сел, съел, сел, съел. So this твердый знак we always put before, after the consonant. So it just has to show us if the consonant should be pronounced softer or maybe harder. Сел, съел, сел, съел. But by itself it has no sound at all. Just твердый знак, just indication that we should pronounce it a little bit harder. Next letter is U. U. Yeah, the sound is actually strange. Pushes. My cat is really going crazy. He's begging for snacks, but we don't have snacks for him anymore. So буква U. It is a vowel, but there is no word that will begin with this letter. It's always somewhere in between, somewhere behind the consonants. So one of the words like this is мышь, мышь, a mouse, мышь. So if you think of, maybe if it's difficult for you to pronounce this буква U, you can try to think of maybe taking a chopstick or a spoon or anything, and just try to say letter E, and try to push with your chopstick or the spoon, fork, whatever you have. Try to push your tongue a little bit deeper inside. So it's the very same sound, E, but the tongue is back. And also if you will kind of make a fake smile, it would also help you to pronounce this letter, like Oh, we have a subscriber, Limur2018. Hello. So once again, this letter is U. It sounds the same as E, but you have to push your tongue back. And also it will much help you to make your mouth wider, like a fake smile. And also if you put the corners of the mouth down, it would be even better. Like you're an ogre or someone. Okay, so the next bukva is a special bukva that has no sound, but it has an official name. That is мягкий знак. That means a soft sound. Хороший урок английского. Actually, русского. Это урок русского. This is a Russian language. Okay, so here we had твердый знак, just a symbol that shows that the consonant should have should be hard, not soft. And here is the other one. Pretty similar, but doesn't have this little appendix on top. Ну, кстати, да, можно и английский подучить, пока я тут объясняю. Okay, мягкий знак. So again, we have two pairs of words, and they have identical letters. I mean, the beginning, буквas, M, A, T, M, A, T, and here is this мягкий знак. So the first one, the first word, if we just read it, actually we can already read it because we know the sounds of all of these letters. M, A, T, mat, mat. Just like a mat, maybe yoga mat. And if we just hear the last sound, mat, 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 it sounds pretty hard, right? Kind of not soft, mat. But if we add this symbol, мягкий знак, we should make it much softer. Мать, t, 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 мать, мать, mama or mother. So here we have a mother monkey with her baby monkey. So we have a yoga mat or we have a mom. So there is a difference. But you shouldn't actually worry because there is not much. I don't think there are so many words that the meaning will change much. And also, even if you pronounce it slightly wrong, like with soft or hard way, I think people would understand from the context of what you're saying, unless you're saying that my mother was on the yoga mat and she was doing something. So once again, this letter is called мягкий знак, means soft symbol, and it has no sound. Мат, мать. Almost finished with the alphabet today. Next one is letter E, буква E, эхо. Okay, actually E. In English or Latin languages, okay, in English we don't have a letter E, we have only A, but in Swedish, for example, or like Norwegian, other Norwegian languages, they have letter E that is pretty similar to E. And these two letters we already know, actually. If you remember, this one we pronounce as and the last one is O. Эхо, эхо. In English, echo, echo. Not exactly the same, I know, but very similar. Because again, not so many words begin with the letter E in Russian alphabet. And just because in today's lesson we wanted to see some similarities between the languages, so this is the word that I picked for today. Echo, echo. And again, we know that the final letter is O, and if you were very careful, you maybe noted that I pronounced it as A, echa. It's not a mistake. It is just different dialects in Russian language. So if you are talking to people who are from the northern parts of Russia, they will pronounce every letter as it's supposed to be in the alphabet. But in other parts of Russia, and actually from the region where I'm from, and kind of more standard way, is when the vowel is not stressed. For example, O can change into A, but only for pronunciation. Just it's supposed to make us, to help us to pronounce words easier and faster. But it's not a mistake, it's not a problem, it's both ways are completely correct. So don't worry if maybe you sound slightly different from me. Эхо, эхо, or echo, echo. Both are fine. Next one. This is also a very weird letter O. If we just look, it's like O, but what is on the side? It looks like letter буква N is hiding behind it, maybe. So this letter is U. U. You, 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 you. Like in English, when we say you are you. So you, 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 you. But it's just one letter. Again, not so many words begin with bukva U. And one of those that actually does is this building. So if you know a little bit of maybe how Mongolians live, you will know the name of their houses. It's called yurta. Yurta. In English we say yurt, yurt, but in Russian almost the same. Yurta, yurta, yurta. Again, if you followed through the whole lesson, and if you were so great and you remembered all of the letters, how to pronounce them, you can already read, because this is almost the last letter. The next bukva would be the last. Here is the final one. The final bukva is bukva ya. 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 Again, it's a vowel. Ya. So can you try to look at the word and try to read it? I'll just remind you that the second letter, second bukva, has the same sound as English H. Ya, h, t, a. Ya, h, t, a. Yachta. Yachta. So we stress the first syllable, yach. Yachta. It is a yacht. Yacht. Yachta. Okay, so I hope this wasn't very difficult for you, but I tried my best. So let's see. We'll go quickly through all of the letters, through the whole alphabet, just to remember which is what. So this one is bukva A, aeroport. Please repeat after me, because it will really, really help you. Aeroport. Try to pronounce this letter. Okay, I'll help. B, B, basketball, basketball. This is a tricky one. V, vodka, vodka. G, guitarra, guitarra. Also gorilla, gorilla. D, doctor, doctor. Yeah. There is no word. So, yeah. The lesson is almost over. Yeah. So the friend of yeah is yo, like yo, yo. If you maybe like rap music, it's kind of very similar. Yo. Or the toy yo-yo. We spoke there could be two different spellings for it. Next one is giraffe, giraffe. Zebra, zebra. Remember, it's quite a long vowel. India, India. And now краткая, the short one. Yeti, Йети. К, К, компьютер, компьютер, pretty much the same. L, лампа, лампа. М, метро, метро. Н, нудист, nudist. Yeah, this content is not for children today. O, отель, отель. П, панда, панда. Actually, Panda today is not checking our stream. Promised to lurk from work, but did not. Re, robot, robot. S, sport, sport. T, такси, такси. У, ультиматум, ультиматум, ультиматум. F, фильм, фильм. Х, хакер, хакер. Ц, царь, царь. Че, or cha. I think it's che. Always get confused. Че, чемпион, чемпион. Ша, шок, шок. Ща, remember it's kind of hard sh sound. Щека, щека. Чик, щека. Твердый знак has no sound, just shows us that we're supposed to pronounce the consonant in a hard way. Сел, sit down. Съел, ate. Сел, съел. Мышь, a mouse, мышь. Again, no sound, but мягкий знак, a soft symbol. Мат means like a yoga mat, or мать, mother. Мат, мать. Эхо, echo. Юрта, yurt. And я, яхта, a yacht. So these are some of the words that we kind of know, that we learned today, and I'm just want to encourage you to think of more words that could be similar with Russian and maybe your language or English. And in this case, I suggest all of you to check this little word wall game where we have to match the words with the pictures. Соедини слова и картинки. So if you are with me in Pear Deck, okay, let me see. I will send you the link one more time. You don't need registration. You only need to use your Google account. Or you can just go to this website, joinpd.com, and add this code. So no registration is needed. Or if you don't have Google account, you can just go to WordWall and try to finish the exercise here. I'm going to finish one here with you. Just type your name or any name you like. It could be even fake name. I would say if it will be your Twitch name, I would really appreciate that. So here we have some words with the pictures and English translation, and we have Russian words with pronunciation. And the time is just for you to know how fast can you match the words, and that's it. So let's try to do the first one.
Интернет.
Wow, internet.
Интернет.
Internet. Can we find the pair for the internet? I think we can.
Интернет.
Ta-da! And at the end, after we will match all of the words, we can click submit answers and we'll see who is the leader. Okay? You can go with any word in any order you like.
Полиция. Полиция.
If you think that it is difficult, so you can just go to the next word and find something that you think will be easy.
Телевизор. Телевизор.
Oh, I found a misspelling.
Телевизор.
I forgot to write letter S. Television. Television. I think it's the key with letter S on my laptop is kind of not working properly.
Банан. Банан.
Banan. You can
Banan.
also repeat. You can listen and you can repeat and you can still try to figure out the meaning of the words with the letters.
Алфавит. Алфавит.
Okay. So yeah, you can go to the last one, word wall, or oh, I sent it actually twice. Cool. Or you can go to Pear Deck. It's also good. Because these words we did not have in today's lesson, but I just want to show you that just remember the Russian language is a phonetic language. Whatever you hear and you just write the letters, and after you can maybe match, you can use a dictionary. Or if you know how to pronounce the letters, you can already read. And many words are very much the same.
Роза.
Rosa. I think it's very obvious. Or like this one.
Футбол.
This is just like so difficult
Football.
not to match.
Пони. Пони.
Pony, pony. A lot of these words are very easy when you hear them.
Pony.
Exactly, that is the purpose of today's lesson. Yeah, the lettering is strange, and this is basically what I do with all of my students, young, like children or adults. First, we just go through all of the words that, many words that we already kind of know, and we can
Электричество.
compare and we can get used to the letters without like really drilling A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I don't like that style, and honestly I don't
Полиция.
understand why people need to know the order of the letters in the alphabet.
Шампиньон.
As for me, sometimes I'm still getting confused at some letters in which order they should go, and there was almost never a situation in my life when I had problems with not remembering the correct order. Because the only thing that you need to know is pronunciation and writing. Hoo-hoo, Decora, you were faster than Ina. Actually, much faster than me. So, or just a little bit faster. But for me, it was like so easy. Yeah, so thankful today the Russian lesson is over. And if we just want to practice a little bit of Russian, or if you want to give me any feedback, we can play some Russian games. And I mean, not Russian games, games in Russian language. Just like regular gaming stream, nothing special. But in every lesson, I'm going to add some kind of exercises in word wall, and we'll also use Pear Deck more often to do some writing.